is a busy week in the world of stand-up comedy. We've got John Mulaney's live talk show coming back this week. There's a Bill Burr special. Next week, Bert Kreischer's got a special. And they just announced Kill Tony is moving to Netflix. This is all huge news. Hi, I'm Johnny Mac, host of Daily Comedy News Podcast. If you want to keep up on what the stand-up comedians are up to, or you just want a nice breezy show to start your morning, I'll tell you what's happening in the world of comedy. 10 to 12 minutes, 7 days a week. It's called Daily Comedy News. I'll see you on the podcast, and until then, enjoy this catchy song. It's stuck in your head. Sorry. Daily Comedy News.
Need something lighter before diving into today's chaos? Daily Comedy News tracks the latest from your favorite comedians. We're your morning download on Mulaney, Gaffigan, Chappelle, SNL, and everyone making moves in comedy. What comedy specials are streaming this week? Who's doing what? And even though it's comedy, there's always a controversy. From arena tours to streaming deals, club comebacks to industry shakeups, think of us as your daily shot of laughs before facing the real headlines. 7 days a week, get Daily Comedy News wherever you get your shows. Daily Comedy News.
Calaroga Shark Media.
From Washington, D.C., where my 401k went to hell, this is Bailout.
That's right. I was totally going to buy a new Tesla, and now I can't afford one. Thanks, Obama. Let's hit this. I'm Patrick Gutfield. The stock market took a nosedive yesterday, with the S&P 500 having its worst day since September, completely erasing all of Donald Trump's post-election gains. The NASDAQ had its biggest one-day drop since 2022, and the Dow Jones Industrial Average plummeted about 2.1%. You know, back in January, Trump was practically doing victory laps around Wall Street. Everyone is calling it the Trump effect, he bragged at a rally. I mean, he literally said, "I don't want to say this, it's too braggadocious," and then immediately said it anyway. That's like saying, "I don't mean to interrupt" in the middle of interrupting someone. But now that his tariffs on Canada, Mexico, and China are actually taking effect, investors are suddenly less enthusiastic. And Trump has completely changed his tune. On Fox News this weekend, he said, "You can't really watch the stock market. If you look at China, they have a 100-year perspective. We have a quarter." That's right. The guy who used to tweet about stock market gains like they were his personal report card is now saying, "Who cares about the stock market?" Classic. This is the same man who measured his presidency's success by how many points the Dow gained. Now he's like a guy who used to brag about his golf score every weekend, suddenly pretending he plays for the love of the game. Meanwhile, Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent is calling this a detox period, which makes it sound like the economy is just getting over a wild weekend in Vegas. And Commerce Secretary Howard Lutnick admits prices on some items will go up because of tariffs, but promises they won't increase overall inflation. That's like saying, "Yes, I set your living room on fire, but don't worry, the kitchen is still fine." President Donald Trump announced Tuesday that he's buying a brand new Tesla to support his buddy Elon Musk, whose company is currently performing the financial equivalent of driving off a cliff with no autopilot engaged. Trump posted on Truth Social that he's purchasing a Tesla as a show of confidence for Musk, who he called a truly great American. Because nothing says presidential like dropping 6 figures on an electric car to make your friend feel better about tanking his own company. According to Trump, radical left lunatics are illegally and collusively boycotting Tesla. You know, the usual presidential vocabulary we've come to expect. He's basically claiming there's a vast conspiracy against Tesla, which is now one of the best automakers in the world. I remember when presidents used to just pardon turkeys, but here we are. Meanwhile, Tesla's stock just had its worst day since 2020, dropping 45% this year alone. That's not a stock chart. That's a ski slope in the Alps. Musk admitted he's running his companies with great difficulty because of his role in the Trump administration. As head of the Department of Government Efficiency, yes, that spells Doge like the meme coin, Musk said, "You're giving up your other stuff." By stuff, he apparently means billions of dollars in market value. And it's not just about the stock. Tesla vehicles and dealerships are being vandalized, with protests erupting globally. In Europe, sales are dropping faster than my enthusiasm for superhero movies. As one analyst noted, even people who like Musk might think twice about buying a car that could end up looking like it survived a paintball war. So Trump's buying a Tesla. The real question is, will he actually drive it? Or will he just park it at Mar-a-Lago next to the golf carts? And does the Secret Service allow presidents to use autopilot? These are the questions keeping me up at night, America. Greenlandic politician Aja Kemnitz-Larsen says this week's election has unprecedented global attention, with influence coming from the US, Denmark, and beyond. Trump told Congress last week, to actual laughter, that he plans to acquire Greenland one way or another. Nothing says respect for sovereignty like treating an entire nation like a foreclosure opportunity. Even before Trump's inauguration in January, he was already floating his Buy Greenland scheme again. But this time with some charming new additions like military threats and tariffs against Denmark if they don't comply. It's like when you really want someone's house, so you offer to buy it, and when they say no, you threaten to set their car on fire. Classic real estate negotiation. Trump Jr. even made a private boat trip to Nuuk, Greenland's capital. And by private, I mean his entourage broadcasted across all social media like they were the Kardashians discovering a new country. The current Prime Minister Mute Egede's coalition might lose power to Nalarak, Greenland's largest opposition party that's more open to collaborating with the US. Politics in Greenland has gotten so tense that for the first time, politicians need security while campaigning. In a country of 57,000 people, that's like needing a bodyguard to go to your family reunion. There's also public anger over a Danish documentary claiming Denmark earned £45 billion from a Greenlandic cryolite mine between 1854 and 1987. Nothing says healthy relationship like mining a country's resources for over a century and keeping all the money. Add to that an IUD scandal where 4,500 women and girls were fitted with contraception without consent, which the Prime Minister has labeled genocide. Denmark also just backtracked on parenting competency tests that separated many Inuit children from their families. I'm starting to think Denmark wasn't the best colonial power. With only 40,000 voters, the margins are slim. But while Denmark panicked over Trump's interest, many in Greenland saw it as potential leverage for a better deal or quicker independence. Meanwhile, American investors are circling. One former Trump administration member claims there are tens of billions ready to be invested in Greenland immediately. Another investor called it frontier in the true sense of things, adding, "We talk about outer space and trips to Mars, and then when you realize Nuuk is a 3-hour flight from New York City, it gets interesting." Yes, because what every indigenous population loves is being compared to Mars. We've colonized everything on Earth. What's next? Mars or, wait, have we tried Greenland yet? Portions of today's show were made with the help of AI, my new Tesla, and the Council to Annex Greenland.
It is the world's most secretive election. When a pope dies, ancient traditions begin. A silver hammer, a destroyed ring, over 100 cardinals locked away from the world, choosing the next leader of 1 billion faithful. White Smoke. The path to a new pope, from Calaroga Shark Media, wherever you get your podcasts.